From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. And it's Friday, my favorite day of the week, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, and I hope you're feeling the same. We had a great night last night. We were able to sweep out the Thursday night football game with the Browns winning the game, the Browns leading at the half, and also going over 7 points in the first quarter as well, too, with the Browns getting a 10-point lead to start that game off. Then the Dodgers, so for a moment there, they had us a little paranoid, a little annoyed about moving forward because after a 2-run shot that I could hear all the way here at my house in Pasadena, pretty much from Freddie Freeman, but the Dodgers prevailed. They went ahead and won the game 11-2. They got 3 home runs last night from Chris Taylor, and they also got 2 from A.J. Pollock, combining for 10 RBI. So that was just very, very good effort last night, winning that baseball game, and very inspired Dodgers team last night with their backs against the wall. But let's go ahead and jump into the and that's exactly where we're going to start this show off at today as well, too, is where we're going to talk about the Dodgers last night. Now, the Dodgers had themselves a pretty good win last night. Pretty good win. It was a much-needed win. They saved their season last night. And now the Dodgers are back to normal. I don't think that they're going to be doing too many more openers and things of that nature. I think what happened last night was that the Dodgers just pretty much had themselves a wake-up call, and they went ahead and won that game 11-2. But by no means necessary means that they are guaranteed to win these 2 games in Atlanta. These are going to be the 2 toughest games of the season for the Dodgers before, if they're able to win them, before you get to the World Series. And the World Series in itself is its own animal as what I would like to say. You know, it's pretty much a way different series from any series that they've played all year, the World Series, but they have to get there first as well, too. The Braves are starting to become a team that a lot of people are starting to really appreciate a little bit more because, you know, I don't know if people really understood how good this Braves team has been over the last 2 months of the season. If you watch my show, I constantly kept talking to you guys about the Braves ascending and making their move and blase. They are doing the same exact thing that another one of their rivals in the NL East did back in 2019. They're playing exactly like the Nats did going into the playoffs. So, you know, you have a team that's won their division, and they're very confident going back to Atlanta, but they did win both games with walk-offs. They didn't necessarily just blow the Dodgers away. The Dodgers had leads in both of those games and late leads at that as well, too. So this right here should be a game where the Dodgers have to understand that they have to do the same exact thing they did in Game 5. They literally had to step on Atlanta's neck as quick as possible and keep them right there until the end of the game. And then maybe we could get a game Sunday. But all in all, first things first, you got to win Saturday to see Sunday. So the Dodgers they passed the first test. Now it's time to pass the major exam. Will they be able to move forward, get another big win, and then set up a winner-takes-all Game 7 Sunday? We will have to see tomorrow night in Atlanta. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Lakers because they're playing tonight. And the Lakers, we already know there was a lot of just hate, you know, because it's the Lakers. And pretty much the Lakers lost, which is not the end of the world because it's only the first game of the season. Let me tell you guys something, some real fun facts. The big three in Miami that everybody covets and loves so much, they actually were blown out their first game together. They were blown out by the Chicago Bulls. It was an absolute ugly, ugly game that night. And to top it off, they didn't start off that great either. It took like a 20-game winning streak for that team to get it together, chemistry wise. So it's going to take a while. I wouldn't call the Lakers a super team either. I would call the Lakers a team that's kind of just who they are. You know, the Lakers are one of the top franchises of all time. So having a Yankee type roster is not shocking to me, but it's not like you have most of these guys in their prime. A lot of these guys have had their best days have passed them by. You know, we all know this, but you look at it, you say to yourself, you have LeBron James, and you're gonna you can do whatever you like if everything works out the right way. Because LeBron has that winning glow. LeBron's been to the last 9 out of 11 finals as well, too. So you're in good company with a guy like LeBron James is your leader with all this great talent. I know a lot of people are at the point to where they really are disgusted by what they see on the roster, but this ain't the first time that the NBA has put together a roster of this many guys with great resumes. It is what it is. Everybody wants to play for a winner. Everybody wants to play for a major market, and these players have did their time in the league, and now they're a part of the Lakers. This is where they wanted to be. They have one common goal. It's a ring or bust. The situation isn't about making the playoffs or building a culture or any of that stuff. This is a short-term situation. So a lot of people have to understand this is not going to be your Laker team for the next 5 years. This is going to be your Laker team probably for the next 18 months at that. You know what I mean? That's the max, I believe, because I think that there will be trades made during the season with some of these players that were added into the mix. So, season's young. The Lakers have 81 more games to go, 40 more to go at home. Laker Nation, don't panic yet. And Laker haters, don't think that you got to one up because the Lakers lost on opening night, something that's happened the last 4 out of 5 years as well, too. So, kind of let's go ahead and know exactly what we're talking about before we jump into our Stephen A bags and all that good stuff, thinking that, you really understand how this thing works. It's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to the NBA. Same thing goes for the MLB as well, too. So there it is. Lakers should be good tonight. I like the way that they are going into this game. Phoenix did drop their first game of the season, losing by 12 points as a 6-point favorite at home as well, too. And I think that glow from last season kind of is already wearing off because now we have an NBA that's back at full strength. And whatever happened last season, that's last season. It's all about this season. So there it is with that. And that's the state of the Lakers. And let's see if the Lakers go ahead and get the big win tonight. And we'll be here to talk about it on Monday because I think we have another game Sunday as well, too. So there it is. State of the Lakers. Move forward from there. All right. So we got game 3 tonight in Houston, and we have the Astros and the Red Sox. And these teams they're setting up for a classic finish in this series. I think the Dodgers and Braves have received a little bit more attention because the Dodgers have the most wins in baseball at this point for teams left over. So the Dodgers have a lot of expectations and they are the world champions. But the Red Sox and Astros are playing a very even series, in my opinion. Now, you had it to where the Astros won game 1 in kind of a blowout fashion, and then the Red Sox came back and blew them away in games 2 and 3. And then the Astros come back and blow away the Red Sox in games 4 and 5. Now, we set up this game tonight in Houston, and Houston is on the brink of going to their 3rd World Series in the last 4 years as well, too. So, pretty much you got that working out for you. And then you have you might have the better pitcher on the mound as well too tonight, but his ERA in the playoffs isn't showing that. But then when you look at the Red Sox, man, you can never go to sleep on the Boston Red Sox, period, point blank. This team is going to show up tonight. They're going to try their best to go ahead and win this game, continue the series. But this is going to be a tough ask tonight, because I think that the Astros are at that point right now to where they really feel like they can go ahead and just close this thing out. But we will have to see. Evaldi has been Mr. Clutch when these situations have arisen. So that's something that you have in your back pocket as well too. The Red Sox are coming in as a 105 tonight. Astros minus 115, over under a 9 tonight as well too. So this is going to be a 50-50 split, but I'm thinking that a lot of people are going to most likely push that Red Sox line up a little bit more, because I think the late money comes in on the Red Sox in this spot, because I believe that this series should go 7 games, because that's what it's setting up to be. But we will have to really go ahead and make sure that tonight. But this is going to wind up being a pretty good game here, and we all like what we see moving forward here. So ALCS Game 6, what a night. That's all you got to say. So pretty much we have ourselves a quick commercial break here, and when we get back, we're going to go ahead and talk about CFB Friday night. And man, it's a full day of sports here, so you guys make sure to stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, so if you guys watched the show earlier, we got our first winner of the day from Horsing Around. It's actually going to be good vibes only. I told you guys the first timer went out there, got bet down to 3-1, just went ahead and won the race in very convincing style. So if you did tell that from the show earlier, congrats on that one as well too. You made yourself some money right now. So let's go ahead, get into what's going down tonight in the world of college football. It's CFB Friday Night Lights. That's what I like to call this. And so let's go ahead and jump into our first game that is available tonight, and that's going to be the game that's going to be between Middle Tennessee State and Yukon. Both these teams are very lowly teams on the totem pole, and you got a Middle Tennessee State team 2-4. Then you have Yukon, who got their first win of the season last week, but that was against FCS Ivy League power Yale. So, pretty much you're supposed to win that game. You know what I mean? So that was nothing really to write home about. Now, Middle Tennessee does have a good win over Marshall at home, but this game is on the road. And I think that you cannot go into this one with the idea that Middle Tennessee State is that much of a world beater to really beat up on Yukon with this plus 14 that's here. Now, it has been jumped up to 14.5, so you will get the hook when you bet this. but earlier it was at plus 14. Now you have an over-under of 55.5 as well, too. Now, both these teams aren't big scoring teams, but when it comes to putting points on the board, I would say that Middle Tennessee State's a bit better at it. But when you look at the stats, both their quarterbacks are junk. You got a quarterback that's only averaging 140 and a quarterback that's averaging 162. And then the running game isn't better. It isn't any better either on either side. You know, you got a guy going for 55 yards a game and a guy going for 46 yards a game. So it is what it is. It's a lower rung college football game. A lot of the stats say that Middle Tennessee State should be much better, but these teams rank in the high hundreds and the low 200s when it comes to overall. So these teams are not that far apart. So you giving Middle Tennessee State a 14-point spread as a road team going against a team that's coming off a win, they can have some confidence after that win as well, too. And I would say that probably Middle Tennessee State will probably have an issue with Yale as well, too. So I think that the plus 14 is the right play here. Don't look at UConn's past games. Look at tonight's game and look at who they're playing and look at who that team is beating on the way here. You know what I mean? And they got a good win over Marshall, but Marshall probably had a very flat off day that day when you look at the stats. And that was a pump it up type of game for Middle Tennessee State. Those games happen all season long, and they'll go into this game with a very cocky attitude, and they're going to wind up getting popped because of it. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. We got Memphis at UCF tonight, another AAC game. Last night, you had SMU absolutely crush Tulane last night. That was an ugly game. They beat them 55-26 last night to improve to 7-0. And make themselves pretty much the powerhouse here in the AAC that quite possibly, can go ahead and upset Cincinnati before they can get to the CFP. So we'll have to keep looking at that angle. But tonight, though, we got two teams that are very good, and they were two teams that actually have won this conference over the last few years as well, too. So this game would have been a bigger game if the records were better. Memphis is 4-3, UCF is 3-3. Now, UCF was the darlings a few years back, and they were a team that a lot of people felt were disrespected because they did not give them the opportunity to play in the Final Four. But it's all good. It's all good and well that coaches left, you know, and pretty much the guys that played big on that team, they were rewarded with NFL draft spots and contracts and things like that. So everything kind of works out. The school didn't get their glory, but the players did. And so, you know, you got a Memphis team drop their last 3 out of 5 games, including 3 in a row before beating Navy last week. And then you have UCF, who's another team that's dropped their last 3 out of 5 as well, too. And they haven't been that same team. The games have been close except for last week when they got blew away by Cincinnati. So I do expect a close game here. I do expect a lot of scoring in this game as well, too. This should be one of the funnest games to watch tonight, and that's going to be Memphis and Central Florida. And I like what I see here. Another AAC juggernaut type of game. All right, so we move on to the Mountain West. Mountain West has had a game last night as well, too. UNLV was nipped at the end. They almost had their first victory of the season yesterday. As you guys know, I put them out as a plus 185 dog, too, against San Jose State, and they just couldn't do it. They had a lead all throughout the game and lost that lead in the fourth quarter. Now we have Colorado State tonight at Utah State. Utah State is coming into the game 4-2, Colorado State 3-3, but Colorado State has played against better competition. This is why they are the favorite here, but they're coming off of a big win over New Mexico. New Mexico is still kind of rebuilding their team a bit, and you got Utah State that won a very close game against the same UNLV team that lost last night. So Utah came into this one they're decent. So pretty much they've won their last 3 out of 5 games after dropping their home opener, and they've been good, but they dropped key games to Boise State, getting beat by 24, and then wound up being beat by 14 by BYU. So, you can't take this team as seriously, but I think that with them being at home, it's Friday night. This is a rivalry game. Anything can happen. I like the home dog in this spot. We'll see how it shakes out. We'll see how it goes. All right, we move on, and we have a Pac-10 after dark game. I mean, Pac-12 after dark, man. I'm old school, so I still think about the Pac-10. And it's funny because I think that the Pac-12 is going to add some more teams as we get this shape shifting situation going, because as you guys know, a lot of teams are leaving their respective conferences to go get bigger money in other conferences. So you have the 6 best teams possibly in Conference USA now moving on to the AAC, and then you have 3 of the AAC teams moving on to the Big 12 as Texas and Oklahoma move on to the SEC. So who may drop in on the Pac-12? We will see. All right, so we have Washington at Zona, and Zona is really bad this year. They are winless right now. Nothing is going well for the Wildcats of Tucson. So pretty much Washington's coming into the game tonight with the idea that they should already be winning this game. Now, they did lose a really good game against UCLA a week or so ago, and now they come back around trying to bounce back from that home loss as well, because that was a serious home loss in my opinion, because you got to beat UCLA. So the thing is, okay, so pretty much you guys are asking me questions that pretty much with this one, can you take BYU 1.5 versus Washington State Saturday? I would say, yeah. Washington State's in a situation now. The coach just got let go. They didn't look too good in their last home game as well, too. So BYU is a really, really good team. I think that they ran into a bad matchup, though, against Baylor. Baylor's a little underrated. So that's what I would say to that, James. All right. And then we got Eastern Michigan versus Bowling Green. Bowling Green got a monster upset over Minnesota. They're still not that good of a team, but I would say if you have them at home, this could be a good spot for you because these teams aren't that far apart. And I think that Eastern Michigan, pretty much is not the team that they were last year. I think that it's a little bit different now. But if you like that spot, then don't hesitate, because you have to understand in the Mid-American Conference, these teams are not that far apart from each other. So I just want to go ahead and answer you guys' question because I did see that. And that's why I always say you guys participate. Now I'll go ahead and I'll answer the question. But yes, James, I think that both those bets can be some sharp bets for you tomorrow. It's just that you're kind of playing against the line a little bit. You kind of want to you're going to a game to where it's 50-50 with the bets going to each side. So you have to be able to deal with the outcome of the game. If you win, great. If you lose, hey, you shot your shot, but still at the end of the day, these two teams and these matchups are not that far apart. Okay. So, wait for my conference bets list early in the morning tomorrow, or later tonight, or maybe I might even be nice and drop it for you guys this afternoon. And you guys can go ahead and pick through that a little bit and see what you like on that. Okay. But those 2 spots right there, that's a nice little add in on your tickets and everything like that. But just the spread is so short, you might just have to go ahead and spend some money real quick and just play the money line and play the game straight up. So then you can have the insurance of the game actually going your way if that team does win. All right. So we will be right back after that. Washington Zone. Come on, you guys already know what's going on with this one. Everybody already knows what they want to do. And so pretty much it is what it is at the end of the day with this game. We know that Washington will probably win, and then we'll wind up getting the plus It's a plus 17.5. That's a good spread to jump on tonight because a lot of people probably will have the idea that Arizona will lay down. But come on, it's a Friday night home game. Now, these guys can't go to the party after the game if they lose them by 30 points. Now, come on, man. You can't, they ain't gonna want to party with you. Y'all gonna be stuck in the dorm with each other tonight if you lose by more than 17. So you guys just have a great game. So then you can go ahead and get into one of those great Arizona parties tonight. All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to talk some NBA and we're going to talk some tickets as well, too. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with your host, the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about the NBA. It's NBA Friday night. It's opening week, man. And you know I love me some hoop. I love the way they dribble the ball up and down the court. Basketball is always going to be the number one numero uno, even though football does play it very close. But NBA Friday night, you gotta love it because you gotta love the fact that you got opening week. You got some teams having their opening home games tonight, such as the Cavaliers, who did lose on opening night by 11 points to the Grizzlies on the road. And this is one of the teams that I told you guys about that you might need to take a little bit more seriously than they are being taken. Take a little bit more seriously because I'm telling you right now. Their rookie, Big Evan, this kid should be the rookie of the year, to be honest with you. But knowing the way that they set things up in the NBA and knowing the way that things come about, that they're probably going to take their sweet time with Evan Mobley. They don't want to rush anything. But if they had anybody intact that could replace LeBron James at this point, if they mold everything right, they do everything correctly here, Evan Mobley will never make you forget about LeBron James, but he can be the superstar that the Cavalier fans have been waiting on because these guys that they have in Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, those guys are going to be on other teams fairly soon. But Evan Mobley is somebody that can stick and be your guy if you do it the right way. But let me talk about the game a little bit more. LaMelo got his win the other night. LaMelo had himself a game the other night. He actually dropped he actually was able to get almost a triple-double the other night. He dropped actually I think 31 points in that spot as well too. And he's leading the way here for the Hornets. And that's going to be the big look tonight. Everybody's going to be worried about what LaMelo is going to do. And, pretty much he's became one of these guys that people pay the price of admission to pull up for. So I do expect a sellout in Cleveland. It was going to be a sellout regardless, but there's going to be some fun behind it. It's going to be some hype behind it, and this should be a really good game. I think what happens here, though, is that it's not that it's going to be defense. It's going to be defense. It's just that it's going to be some poor shooting tonight. And I know both these teams actually scored a lot of points in their opener, but tonight that's not going to happen, in my opinion. I think it winds up being an under game here because that's how it usually works in Cleveland a lot of times. And I'm just going off the numbers that I had for last year. I know it's not last year, but sometimes trends just continue. And I think that this trend will continue with this game going under tonight. Now, let me move on to our next game. This one was the game that was played for the playoff spot last year, and that was the Pacers and the Wizards. This is going to be the debut of guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, KCP for the Wizards. And I think Bradley Beal should be in the house tonight. Everybody knows that it's a quiet story, but Bradley Beal is in the same boat as Kyrie, but he's not in a place where they're not going to let him play. So he should be in for this one tonight as well, too. And then you have a Washington team that I feel is pretty good. They're on the up and up. But I think what happens here, though, is that you're going to get a lot of a good mojo tonight from the Pacers, in my opinion. I feel like the Pacers have the better squad here, and I think that they'll take care of their business tonight and get themselves a good win after suffering that early loss here in the season when they played the Hornets the other night, losing by 1 point, just 1 point the other night. So now they get to play against the Wizards, and I think that they make up for that. And they got a little bit of revenge on their brain as well, too. It's a nice little number as well. It's not too expensive. So there it is. There it is. And it's confirmed now for you guys. This is what's happening. We have Bradley Beal is out for tonight. It's been confirmed that Bradley Beal will not be playing tonight. All right. So we have that in the books and we have that out the way. So we move on and let's talk about the game of the night on the East Coast. It's going to be the Nets at the 76ers. This is going to be a really, really intense game, in my opinion. I think that the Nets, they want to get their minds right after getting smoked the other night by the Bucks on ring night. And they got whooped, too. They got beat by 24 points. So they want to right that wrong as well, too. They didn't look really good as a team, but yet we all have to understand there's a lot of new faces on that team as well, and they're trying to get into the flow of things. I think that once you get Harden in regular season in Harden form, this Nets team is going to go, and they're going to go far. But right now, this is extended preseason, as I keep trying to tell you guys. Our true season doesn't really start until Christmas. This is all going to be, the next 6 weeks are going to be a fill-out point for a lot of teams trying to figure out their rosters, trying to figure out who's here and who's there. This game, to me, means absolutely nothing to the bigger picture, to the bigger scheme of things. But for right now, for this week, this is a huge game. You got KD Harden going against Embiid and the crew. And, the 76ers have made their mind up. If Ben wants to roll with us, he's going to roll with us. But I know that they're probably not going to have Ben Simmons much longer, though. But tonight, and now I'm getting more news that Embiid's going to be out. So now they got to play against the regular Sixers, but the Sixers have built themselves up for a situation like this. We have to understand that, yes, it's great to have your stars there, but this gives others opportunities to show up in a game as well, too. And so the Sixers have built their team to be a good team and a team that possibly can win a few games without their superstars. But I'm not taking the Sixers to win this game, but I'm not taking the Nets to win this game either tonight. I think that, once again, this is a scoreboard watching game, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here is watch the scoreboard. So the over-under is very enticing to me, and I love the over 226 in this spot right here. All right, we move on to the opener for the Chicago Bulls, the new look Bulls, who added Lonzo Ball. They also added multiple All-Star DeMar DeRozan as well, and then they also added LA's favorite hustle man. I think he was probably the most popular Laker not named LeBron, and that's going to be Alex Caruso, who's going to be a very key part to helping this Bulls team get back into relevancy. But the Bulls been bad for the last few seasons, and I think that this haul that they got in the summer, and also were able to move some players as well too, and bring in. They also were able to bring in some other savvy vets as well too. So this Bulls team really does have an opportunity to possibly be right there, right behind the Bucks in the Central. So there it is. They're gonna have a pretty good team. The Pelicans are just waiting to get blown up. That's my honest opinion. I know that you got Zion out, but Zion's always out, right? Then you got Brandon Ingram who's well paid now, but how much longer will his passion be there to lose? You know what I mean? So I think that the Pelicans, by losing Zoe, pretty much are not going to be a team you can consider for the playoffs, even with Zion. You know what I mean? Zion's a great player, awesome, but if you can't stay healthy, then what's the point of getting excited about what you're going to do for your future in the NBA? You know what I mean? You got to be a healthy player that plays at least 80 to 90% of their games in the season. You know what I mean? So, these half a seasons, these little sample sizes is not enough for us. You know what I mean? We need more. And I think tonight the Bulls absolutely have themselves a game tonight. They absolutely look good in front of their home crowd tonight. And there's a lot of excitement in Chicago right now with this roster. I think that they need to go ahead and cash the check, and I think they go ahead and do it in their own home game tonight as well, too. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the dog of the day. And I'm going with something that's kind of traditional for me. It seems like every opening Kings game, they give the Kings a line that has some very good value to it, to where they are always the underdog, but the Kings always wind up winning. Now, when you play in a small market like they do, these games on a Friday night are huge. You know what I mean? This is setting up the night for the downtown area as well too, that the stadium is adjacent to. So I like Sacramento winning this game tonight as the dog of the day, sending their fans to those collective bars and lounges with big smiles on their face, so those owners can make themselves some good money with those fans. You know what I mean? So I do like the way that this game is setting up. I think that this one calls for a Kings upset against a Jazz team that's still kind of snake bitten from having the best record in the West, and then getting put out by the Clippers after having the Clippers on the brink of elimination. So, I don't know how well they'll be tonight, but I think that the Kings get themselves a good win. They had a little bit of controversy too, but you know what? Now that's all over and done with, and they get Luke and the boys get themselves a nice win tonight, and that's why I have them as my dog of the day. Now let's go ahead and get into talking them tickets real quick. And man, I got a full slate for you guys tonight, and it's a nice one too. We're going to go in this ALCS game. We're going to go ahead and go with the idea that this is going to go 7. I'm taking the Red Sox money line, 105. I'm also saying the Red Sox are over 2.5 runs before we get done with 5 innings, and also under 9 for this game tonight as well too. Now I'm saying the Red Sox score some runs. They got 3 runs, but by the time we get done with the 5th inning, but I'm trying to have this game finish up, say maybe 3-2 or 3-1 or something of that nature. But that's where I'm going with my ALCS game 6 bets, and there it is. Friday Night Lights pick 4 is a 14-1 ticket for you guys tonight. As I said before, plus 14.5 on Yukon. Then we have the over 66 with Memphis and Central Florida. We got Utah State money line tonight, the plus 130. So we're going with the home dog, and also doing the over 46 in the UW Zona game as well too. This is a 14-1 ticket. If you guys bet 20 on the ticket, you get 280 back. If you go ahead and bet, say, 100 on the ticket, you get $1,400 back. So, if you got the money to spare a little bit, then maybe you might hit yourself some rent real quick tonight. Then you got the 37-1 as well too. This is a very, very good ticket. As I said before, I'm doing the under 225 with the Hornets and the Cavs. Then we're going to also do the Pacers money line minus 120. We're doing the over 226 with the 76ers and the Nets. I'm going to go ahead and get a little chalky tonight and take the 6.5 on the Bulls, because I think they win that game by 10 or better. And then I'm going to take the Kings as my dog of the day at plus 200. So there it is. There it is. Those are our tickets for tonight. And we do have a game coming up in about the next 20 minutes as well, too, the Yukon game. So you guys be ready for that. I know I did the show a little bit later today, but we did horsing around as well today, too. So there it is. There it is. I thank you guys very much for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. And I'll see you guys on Monday. And I should have Jeff with me as well, too. We'll be talking some good NFL stuff and just looking at the week ahead as well, too. So you guys make sure to tune in for that, all right? And then tomorrow, I also have another episode of Horsing Around for you guys for the Saturday card over at Santa Anita. So once again, thank you for tuning in. You guys are the absolute best. There is no me without you. And as I always like to say, if you got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. I am the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave